Hi guys, the Golden Globes were last night, and in case you missed it, I've got my handy little list here on my iPad of my most favorites and also my least favorites. If you're new here, my name is Tasha Julie and I'm an LA-based fashion stylist. I was actually working the event last night and I had the joy of seeing some of these in person. And with that being said, when I talk about any of the looks that may have gone wrong, for some of the ones that can be reworked, because honestly some of these just need to be put into an incinerator, but for some of the ones that could have slight changes, I'm going to kind of insert my personal stylist notes on what I would change, because I want to bring an overall positive vibe to this video. This is not an attempt to put hate onto any celebrity or be unkind. I do want to start out with a disclaimer that an ugly dress is something that can very easily be taken off. We are not here to send hate toward any specific celebrity. We are also not here to discount their talent as an actor or actress, and we are certainly not here to take away from the wonderful evening they may have had by an achievement of a lifetime, winning an award, and then I don't want to sit here on the internet and talk about how much I hated their outfit, because that just seems really, really unkind, and that's not something that I'm here to do. That is not the intention of this video. All right, let's get started with one of my favorite looks from the evening. I've got everything on my iPad here so I can kind of keep everything fresh in my mind and talk about the details that I want to discuss in this video. Of course, post-editing, I'm going to pop all of the photos into the actual video, but I've got this here for my reference, and I think I'm going to put it on my knee so I don't have to hold it the whole time. So if you're like, what are you looking at? All right, so one of my favorites of the evening was Dakota Fanning in this beautiful red dress with this sort of attached wraparound scarf detail. I did read an article in part of my research for the looks for this video that somebody had written. I'll put their name up if I can find it. This person had written an article on how they had kind of felt bored with the abundance of the ode to old Hollywood glamour from this event. And I have to say that I completely agree. I do feel that the old Hollywood glamour went a little too far and made a lot of these looks a little bit boring, but not this one. And that's one of the things that I really liked about this look. I felt that it was equal parts modern and old Hollywood glamour. So it was glamorous enough to take center stage on a red carpet. The red color and the cutout added some sexiness to it, without it going into a territory that could be a little bit too sexy, which is easy to do with red dresses and like high slit cutouts. But I thought this was a wonderful look. It looks fantastic on her. It's just enough of all of the good things that I kind of want for a red carpet moment. It's a bright pop of color, it's sexy, it's still glamorous. Of course, the dress is beautiful, she herself is beautiful, but I think that the styling and the way that they really kept things simplistic with the rest of this look is also what really kind of leads into making this an excellent look. Her hair is simple, her makeup is simple, she has a pop of red on her lips, but it's not anything too much. She's not wearing any ostentatious crazy jewelry because the dress is already a lot, and that kind of just lets everything speak for itself, and I really like the way that it's kind of almost a blank canvas, letting the dress be the focal point of the attention, because this could have gotten very busy and very kind of almost gaudy if it was styled in the wrong way. But this was one of my favorite looks of the evening. All right, moving on into one of my least favorite looks of the evening, and that is Ariana Grande in vintage Givenchy. So there were several things about this look that I just really did not like. And before sitting down to film this, I found myself Googling, is Ariana Grande pregnant? Because there were several poses of her with her hand over her tummy, and that combined with this pure waist line of the dress was really giving pregnancy vibes. And so before I sat down to discuss how I really didn't like her outfit, and then I find out that she's pregnant and everyone's like, that's kind of insulting, because there are limited things you can wear if you truly are pregnant. But as of the moment that this video is being filmed, she has not said that she is pregnant. So I'm going to go ahead with the vibe that she is not currently pregnant. And if that's the case, I don't like this dress. So let's talk about what I don't like about this dress. The first thing that I do not favor is the color. So I feel like the color of this dress kind of being this middle of the road, muted chartreuse kind of pea soup, baby vomit color, it's lacking. So I feel like it needed to either be punched up and a little bit more vibrant, or taken down several notches in tone and gone into intentional pastel territory. But as it is, it's just kind of right there in the middle, and it's blah, and it's already one of those kind of unappealing, like baby barf kind of colors. And the other thing I don't love about the dress is the actual cut, the pure waist. It's not my favorite. I think that Ariana Grande, being such a tiny, petite girl, there were a ton of options that might have looked nicer on her. And the other thing I just don't care for in this dress is the kind of brocade tapestry bust. It's a little bit bejeweled, and then in combination with the satin kind of flowiness of the skirt or the rest of the dress, it very much is giving draperies or window dressing. There's just not much about this that I'm loving. And then adding insult to injury are these opaque white gloves. These to me just really do not go at all with the rest of this look. I think that this could have been improved by doing some maybe like really cool citrine or peridot jewelry with some gold shimmeriness going up the arms if that's what she wanted to do as far as accessorizing. But these opaque white gloves, they aren't doing it for me. They are kind of giving Disney theme park princess, which is cute for the Disney theme park, but it's not really like a real person's red carpet outfit. It's just not very elegant, and altogether this does not go. I don't care for this at all. All right, next up we have maybe a controversial opinion. So this ended up on a lot of people's least favorite lists, but it is Eddie Redmayne, and I happen to really like this look. This is one of my favorites. So I think lately, or in recent years, the men have really been stepping up their red carpet game. A lot of my favorite looks in recent red carpets have been on the men, but there have kind of been just traditionally limiting options when it comes to men's outfits. So they're kind of constricted to having to wear a suit or a tuxedo, and there's really not too much that can be done with that. But I happen to really like this. I think that the window pane kind of busyness of the pattern is why people perhaps did not like this. But I do like it. I think it's cool. I think it's unique, especially when there are, kind of limited options for men's suits on the red carpet. I also really like the notched collar. I think that that's a little bit of a fun, like geometric play on the entire look. And the one thing I might change up about this is the shoes. I think that we could have done a butter yellow shoe to kind of tie in the shirt. But altogether, I think this is a nice look. I think it's fun, I think it's interesting, I think it's unique, and I think it's cool. I also think the suit is nicely tailored. There was attention to the detail and the way that it fits his body. I think that this is nice, and I kind of don't really understand why it ended up on the worst list in several of the media outlets. It pains me to say that one of my next least favorite looks is Carrie Russell. I have loved her ever since her days on Felicity. I remember the first time I saw her. Like, to me, that is how beautiful she is. The first time I ever saw her was on Felicity, and I remember thinking, who is this stunning woman? So it does hurt me a little bit to say that this is one of my least favorite looks from the evening, but there are a few things I would do differently to kind of punch up this look. It still probably wouldn't have been my first choice or favorite looks of the evening, but let's talk about this look. So this overall kind of floor-length blazer-esque dress in this stark whitish cream color. It's very, very opaque, and the fabric, it just looks kind of thick because I'm sure it is. It doesn't have any movement or flowiness to it. It just doesn't have a lot of elegance to it. And I feel like it's a little bit over tailored, if that can be a thing. So this overall sharp rectangular shape that leans almost into SpongeBob SquarePants. I think there's a way to play with shapes, and they can be really kind of cool and unique and provide visual interest, but when they're not done in the right way, it can be hard to do. They do just kind of come off a little bit wrong, and that is what is happening here. The other thing about this that is kind of off is I feel like it wants to be sexy. It's got this plunging neckline and it's got this leg slit, but with this fabric and then the rest of this boxy, just kind of blah shape to it, it's about as sexy as copy machine paper, so it just doesn't really work. And then adding to the pile of kind of things that have gone wrong with this look is this plain black pump. Now, I think the shoe itself is cute for something else. It just really does not go with the rest of this look. So this is where I would have made a slight change. I think we could have played off of these sort of citrine or whatever this yellow stone is on the belt, and we could have gone with either a silver shoe, but I would have gone with a butter yellow pump. So I found some that I thought would have looked so much better. I'm going to insert them here. And I think that that could have kind of punched up this look a little bit. It still, again, wouldn't have been great. And the last thing about this I don't love is her hairstyle. Now, of course, I am not a hairstylist, but as a fashion stylist, we do all work together behind the scenes to come up with a cohesive look. And I feel like this kind of slicked back, very simplistic, minimal hair is not adding to the look. It's kind of making it worse. I just feel like there's something lacking altogether with this look. Some vibrancy, something fun, something punchy. And this slicked back, boring-ish hairstyle just adds to the boringness of the overall look. So unfortunately, it didn't do it for me. I think a different hairstyle could have really punched up some of this, but altogether the dress itself just kind of was a fail, which is unfortunate because we love Carrie Russell. My next favorite of the night is Kate Hudson, and she is wearing this gorgeous navy strapless dress, which at first glance, I think some people would say wasn't all that exciting because it is just a dark colored strapless dress. But what really caught my attention on this was the up close detail. So if you thought this was a dull or boring look, I'll try to zoom in on the detail of this dress the best I can when I edit this video. But the detail of the beadwork and just the pattern of it itself, it's the perfect right amount of visual interest. It's the right amount of red carpet glamour and shimmer without it being like costumey. I think a lot of times too much shimmer looks a little off. It can start giving like sexy ice skater. But this was such a beautiful classic look. It looks fantastic on Kate. Her hair suits the look, and then I really love the sapphire necklace that she's got. It's also kind of the perfect length and ties in perfectly with this sapphire navy hue of her dress. So this is an example, in my opinion, of classic done right. It is elegant, but it's still a little bit more punched up and fun. So that is the reason that this was one of my favorites. All right, next up, nobody wanted this. Kristen Bell. I don't love this outfit. I do love her. And I think there was a lot of things that she probably could have done instead of this. That being said, in case you haven't noticed, Kristen Bell is a very, very tiny human. I'm a relatively small human myself, so I kind of understand some of the struggles that can happen on more petite women, but she is extremely petite. And one of the first things that I said to myself when I saw this look was mother of the bride. And there's not anything wrong with being any age or being the mother of the bride, but I meant it in the traditional, like matronly, I'll insert a pic of like the traditional mother of the bride look that popped into my mind when I saw this. And Kristen Bell is a vibrant, beautiful woman, and she could have done something different that I think would have suited her better. The bodice of this dress, the way it's kind of overlapping the skirt, is cutting her off also in the wrong place. On somebody who doesn't have an extremely tall figure, this isn't really the way that I would want to present myself. I am also not an extremely tall human, and I am very mindful and careful of things that cut me off in a visual way that make me appear shorter than I actually am. So when something is on a smaller or shorter person and it just cuts them off right at the middle, it can sometimes make them look even shorter. So altogether, I thought this look lacked visual interest. I thought it was a little bit boring, and I thought that there were a lot of things that somebody beautiful and petite like Kristen Bell could have done differently to have had a real wow factor moment. I did not love this look, so sorry, Kristen. I think you're hilarious, and I really, really liked your show where you got married to Adam Brody, but up next is another controversial opinion. This look ended up on a lot of people's least favorite lists. I actually am putting it on my favorite list, and that is Leighton Meester, and she is wearing this beautiful, again, kind of a chartreusey yellowish gown. And the style of this somewhat reminded me of what Nicole Kidman was wearing, even though her dress was silver. But there was something very similar about these two looks to me, and I actually liked Leighton's better. I thought it was a little bit more unique. I thought it was a little bit more kind of fresh and vibrant and cool. And I like that there is a side slit to it, not only for functionality. If you've ever tried to walk in a ankle length or longer dress that has no slit or movement to it, it's nearly impossible, but it also really adds to some beautiful visual interest. And I appreciate that she kept the rest of the look kind of simple because it is a little bit of a shimmery, glittery type of a dress. It's got this plunging neckline, but she kept the rest of the look simple with the silver shoes that tie in with the silver necklace, like nothing groundbreaking, but I thought that this was altogether a very elegant, glamorous, fun red carpet look. And it was fresh, it was vibrant, it still felt young, it didn't lean matronly like Kristen Bell. Pretty good example of that. Actually, I think Leighton Meester is a little bit older than Kristen Bell, and her look, Kristen Bell's, being a lot more matronly. Just goes to show that it's not really about the actual age of these women, and I want to make that point because there's a lot of ageism in Hollywood, and I'm no spring chicken myself, but I think that outfits that age you in a way that you may not want are things that maybe not the best idea for a red carpet. All right, so Ashley Graham with her Golden Globes, can we say that? I think we can say that. Ashley Graham with her Golden Globes on full display of the Golden Globes red carpet was also one of my least favorites for exactly that reason. And I don't mean to come off as a puritanical prude. I just think there's a lot of boobage going on here to where it is distracting. The very first thing I said to myself when I saw this look was boobies. So I don't know if maybe that was her intention. She wanted this little kind of overly sexy look. If she did, then she executed what she wanted. I personally do not love this. I think it's a little too much boobage. It is the main thing that I notice when I see this. So for that reason, if I were to restyle this, and oftentimes one of the things that we talk about that has become very, very taboo lately, and I'm not really sure why, I think it's a little bit odd that we're perfectly okay in saying we want our hair to look a certain way or we want our makeup to look a certain way. But if we happen to say we want our body to look a certain way, that people get very up in arms about it. But one of the things that I do have to talk to my clients about as a fashion stylist is body types. And if I were to have Ashley Graham as a client, she is not, if she were to come to me and say, I want a red carpet outfit, she is a fuller busted gal. One of the first things that would come to my mind that I would want to put her in would not be a deep plunging V dress that would show off all the boobages. I think that cleavage is fine. I think that sexy is fine. But when it's this deep of a V, it's showing too much of the boob. Like it's like all of it. So some top cleavage or side, like pick a part of the boob and show some of it, but this is like all the boob almost. And the other thing about this, coming from my fashion stylist point of view, is that I would be hesitant to put a full busted client in something like this, even though there are things like wardrobe tape, of course, but I would be hesitant to put somebody in this because it's really opening the door for a wardrobe malfunction. So altogether, not one of my favorite looks. If I were to change this, I would change up the open-toed shoe and put her into a closed-toe, like pointed heel. I would also change the color of the dress to more of maybe like a vibrant dark navy rather than black. And I would do something a little bit different with the overexposure of the bust line. So I would choose to show just top of the chest cleavage or something a little less plunging. Or I think what could have maybe saved this look was even having some sort of a sheer or lace like insert on this deep nude plunging V. I think even that would take away a little bit from the distractingness of this ample amount of cleavage that I am seeing here. You guys, I saw this look in person last night while I was working at the event, and it is even better in person, if you can believe it. So it is Cate Blanchett, and she is wearing Louis Vuitton. One of the things that I really loved about this look was a concept more than just the look. She wore this already earlier this year to the Cannes Film Festival. So the fact that she re-wore an outfit, that is literally almost unheard of, especially for red carpets. So I love that for her. And I also love this dress. It suits her as far as the kind of vibrantness of the almost copperish yellow. It really kind of goes nicely on her complexion. I think that her hair, the way it is hitting just kind of at the chin length, is really making the, what do you want to call this? This jeweled overlay of the shoulder part of the dress. It's really making that kind of the focal point of the look, which it is, but it's drawing more attention to it because the way her hair is at the right angle to expose this to its most beautiful detail. And I also love that it's kind of got a Grecian, like flowy drapiness on the top part of the dress, and then the bottom skirt part goes down into something that's a little bit more fitted, but not extremely tight or too flowy. So altogether, the combination of just perfection on Cate Blanchett. This was one of my top looks of the evening. And again, I love that she re-wore something that she already wore this year. I think that's something that we can all do more of, reworking things that we already own and kind of getting away from this wear it once mentality. This poor woman has ended up on pretty much everyone's least favorite or worst dressed list. And unfortunately, I'm going to agree, and it is Ali Wong. So let's talk about where Ali Wong went wrong in this outfit. So my very first thought when I looked at this red dress was strawberry shortcake prom dress meets some sort of oceanic monster like a squid or an octopus with these kind of like tentacly like ruffle things on it. And my husband happened to come in and look over my shoulder when I had this photo open, and he goes, "Oh, Elmo." So there weren't any great references around this fuzzy-ish red dress. And then the other thing about it that makes it even more weird in a bad way are these clunky black opaque opera length gloves. It feels like two different outfits, and they've come together in one that just does not work. There's nothing appealing about this look at all. The way that I would restyle this, because I feel like Ali is kind of going for quirky, and I think that's okay, but there's nothing glamorous or fun or elegant about this. But if she wanted to keep her quirkiness, so she came to me and she said, "I want to wear this red fuzzy tentacle dress," not my favorite, but if that's what she wanted to do, I'm going to say, let's swap out these black gloves for either this kind of sheer puff sleeve top if we want to do black, or if we want to maybe do this red sheer tulle, put one of these sheer tops under this dress. And that way it's still kind of true to the quirkiness that I feel like she's going for here, but it's a little more cohesive and less clunky with these black opaque gloves. So Ali Wong, not one of my favorites. And the last thing I will say about her is that she also got some hate for her eyewear, which I Googled before filming this. She needs eyeglasses to see, so we're not gonna discuss anything about that. If she can't see without her eyeglasses, we're gonna leave her alone in regard to that. I feel like I kind of have to lump this next look in with Ali Wong because they are a very similar look. And what's wrong with them is also very similar. And this look is Carrie Washington in Balenciaga, which I'm not even sure I know the appropriate protocol for Balenciaga these days, but she's wearing it, and it's similarly wrong in the ways that the Ali Wong red tentacle dress was. So we've got another brightly colored dress that is overworked and texturally kind of odd. I think texture can be cool when it adds visual interest, like some sort of Grecian ethereal draping, things like that. But this kind of taffeta-ish, I don't love the texture of this bright pink Balenciaga on Carrie Washington. And then we've got the similar problem with the opaque black clunky opera length gloves. And then the same on the bottom with her shoes, these plain black pointed toe pumps. If I were to rework this look as a stylist, we're gonna take off the gloves, we're gonna take off the black tights, and we're gonna change out this black shoe. And we are either going to go with a pop of color, like a bright purple to keep everything like bright and fun. And we're also gonna do a purple gemstone earring, something like an amethyst that ties in with the purple shoe if we wanna go a more colorful route. Or since the dress really is a lot, it's this bright, almost fluorescent pink, I think that we could also go a little bit more nude and make the shoe a nude or neutral, like flesh toned color. And again, take off the gloves and maybe add some gold jewelry that would tie in with the nude tones of the shoe. So those are the two ways that I would restyle this, either to a more simplistic sort of nude accessories and some gold shimmer, or carrying through with this pop of color with the pop of purple in the shoe and the purple earrings. All right, if I could make a drum roll sound, I would for this next one because it was my absolute favorite of the night, and it is Elle Fanning in Balmain. A lot of the looks, like I said in the intro, even the good ones were just good. There was nothing that blew me away. This was the only one of the entire night where I actually gasped and I was like, oh, this is so beautiful. So let's talk about all of the things that I love on this dress. So first off, it is tying in the old Hollywood glamour, but it isn't boring. It's got this beautiful leopard print bodice that gives some visual interest to an otherwise more traditional and glamorous dress. This full voluminous skirt is adding to this wow red carpet moment. And then she's got this glamorous but still modern kind of side swept updo. All of this is complete perfection down to this kind of oxblood lip that looks so beautiful on her very alabaster skin. And then this kind of copperish necklace. I wouldn't say it's necessarily gold. The copper of it ties in perfectly with this leopard kind of brocade-ish bra top bodice. Absolute perfection, best look of the night in my opinion. I'd love to know what you think. Leave me a comment, let me know if you loved this as well, or if maybe you've got a contrasting opinion. So Carla Sopia Gascan, if I'm saying that right, forgive me if I'm not, she ended up on my least favorite. This was actually one of my absolute, I really don't like it. This look, let's talk about where this look went wrong. So my first association with this dress is it's very Chester cheetah. I don't love this at all. I don't think that there's a ton we can do to rework this, but let's constructively say some things about what could have maybe done differently. So I think that Carla herself, she is a very tall, at least she seems like it to me. I've not seen her in person. She looks like a very tall woman. So I think there are a lot of things we can do with a tall body type. She is also a rectangular body shape. So the dress, the way that this is all one piece in the front of the dress, there is no slit, there's no opening on the top. It's all one piece. It's also lending to the extreme rectangularness that we already have in her natural shape, which there's nothing wrong with having a rectangular body shape or any other body shape, but when something accentuates it or makes it more extreme, that's sometimes not the direction we want to go in. So that's something that, as far as if I were to put on my stylist hat and say what I would change about this, I would put something that was a little more open somewhere on the top of it, and or on the bottom have a slit, a little bit of leg. I can't even see her shoes, that this is so floor length rectangular. And I also really strongly dislike this color and the two-tone with this pop of yellow. It's not adding anything to the overall orange or Chester cheetah-ness of the dress. And then as far as her accessories, she's really only wearing this watch, which kind of doesn't go or lend itself to a red carpet or formal event. Maybe it had personal sentimental value to it. Maybe it's a family member's or something like that and she wanted to wear it. And that's okay, but I would have also maybe taken the bare arm and done some jewelry with that. Or if we had done an open neckline, we could have done some more jewelry at the top. But there just needed to be less as far as this color and this boxy rectangularness of the look, and more as far as fun or sparkle or some sort of visual interest or opening up and giving her some more oomph, because this is just altogether a very distracting kind of blah, and the only thing that pops out about it to me is that I just really don't like it. So not a favorite. I do think that she had a wonderful night. She won a lot of awards, and I certainly don't want to take away from that by sitting here on the internet and saying how much I didn't like her outfit. I do want to congratulate her. I think that she is lovely, but this outfit just did not work, and there were plenty of other options that perhaps might have looked nicer on her for this event. Oh, Melissa McCarthy, you are a funny, amazing lady, but I need to know what this look was last night. She is also one of my ultimate least favorite looks of the night in this hot mess of a pink number. It's giving flamenco and flamingo at the same time. One of my first correlations with this overall look was Palm Beach society lady from the 60s. I'm not vibing with this at all, and even the hairdo with the top knot that comes to a point at the top of her head. I think the worst part about, actually, I don't know which is worse, the underlying pink pantsuit outfit or this ruffly, I don't know what we're gonna call this, shawl, cape. It's just, I can't rework this. The color is too much, the ruffles are too much. Maybe if we got rid of the ruffles and we made this pink jumpsuit into a dress that was a little less traditional, kind of with this v-neck and this pantsuit looking thing. It's giving exciting Midwest bank teller, but oh man, I don't know. I don't know what to do with this. I'm kind of at a loss. The one thing I would say about it is that it could be considered a fun, more vibrant color, and I think that was cool. But altogether, I don't know if this could be helped, and I'm sorry to say that, but it just was not a favorite. So that rounds out my list of favorites and hate-its from the Golden Globes. I'd love to know what you guys thought. Leave me a comment and let me know if you had a favorite that I missed. I know a lot of you are probably going to ask about Zendaya. I just gave her a pass. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. So let me know what you think, and I hope to see you guys soon in another video. Thanks for watching.